What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla X Kong news roundup. That's right, in this video we will be continuing our chronological journey through the development and release of Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire and its subsequent sequel by talking about events that happened in March 2024. Boo! Did I scare you? Yeah, I'm going to be doing the outro as well. This one actually cut in half from where it was originally going to be because it was originally going to be like a very long video. And I wasn't going to release a Godzilla news and updates. It was so long you wouldn't watch it. In this one, we're going to be getting to the premiere for GXK. We're also going to be talking about some of the early reviews for the movie, as well as the opening box office predictions, which gave us a pretty good indication on where the movie would land. Of course, GXK is one of the most profitable films of the MonsterVerse. And in this one, we'll talk about how that journey began. Let's do it. Starting out, as always, I want to get into some art, and this first piece comes to us from Kaiju Freak V2. This is their Shimo redesign. I think it's pretty awesome. Looking pretty cool, man. I like it. I love the spines. I love the tail. I really like the crystals all over the body. I like the crystals on the knee a lot. That's really cool. And overall, just looking pretty neat. This next one just goes to show how brain rotted I am, as this one from Eva Ultima Version's Godzilla Evolved art. And I'm so brain rotted, I unironically thought this was Fortnite fan art when I first saw it. I've officially become the living embodiment of the meme, "It's the guy from Fortnite!" as I really thought that this was the guy from Fortnite. I thought that that was a guy gliding in up top as the helicopter as well. It's so bad. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. This next one is so good, I've actually used it for alternate thumbnails to one of my recent videos. This is Quoke's 10 years of the MonsterVerse art, linked down below. Please go show some support to the original creator. It's incredible. I could look at it for so long. So many wonderful details in here. You've got Godzilla and Kong facing off against their rogues gallery. I love that Kong's got his entire Skull Island and some of the Hollow Earth rogues gallery he goes up against. Well, Godzilla's got all the Toho favorites. I love that Mothra and Rodan are dueling back there. It's also like Mothra from GXK, which is cool, as well as like Tiamat and some of the others like Scylla and the Muto. I just think it's awesome, man. There's little details like the axe being hidden in the background. Obviously, Scar King's looking great. The Hollow Earth mountain up top, and we're in the vortex portal of the journey to Hollow Earth. The whole thing's so cool. I really love this one. Cinepolis released their Godzilla Kong cup toppers. These are quite interesting. You've got Godzilla and Kong from the torso up. I actually really like the Godzilla one. I think it's very neat. But those are the Cinepolis Godzilla Kong cups. They also released a little video of Godzilla and Kong at the movie theater, skipping around, having a good time. It reminds me a lot of the marketing from the King of the Monsters days, where it's just very wholesome, so I wanted to mention it here. Bandai Movie Monster Series revealed their Godzilla Evolved. It's looking pretty decent overall. I'm happy that they did this, and then they released their Kong with the Beast Glove, which I actually think looks pretty awesome. I love the fact that they've sculpted on the chest scars for Kong, as well as the Beast Glove looks pretty good on this thing. I've seen it in person, but it was being sold for $50 at FYE, so I was not gonna get it. That's way too much to pay for this. The GXK Blue banner was released, looking pretty cool. We've seen variants of that before. I don't know what Legendary was thinking here. They released this Godzilla Kong promo of this giant inflatable Godzilla and this giant inflatable Kong at a pier, but it's very clearly AI generated, which is disappointing that they're using AI to advertise their movies, especially when they do cool things, like how Godzilla and Kong took over London, with Kong having this giant Kong with Beast Gloves sticking out of the ground, holding on to this telephone box while Godzilla's swimming around the bay. It looks sick, man. This is so cool. I don't know why you would need AI to advertise your movie when you do stuff this awesome. We have some photos of the Godzilla Kong takeover in London. I love Godzilla in the water there, and then I think that Kong one's actually really awesome, especially the way he's holding that telephone box. I don't know, it's just pretty cool. That wasn't the only ones either. The Madrid Godzilla Kong displays are also pretty cool, with banners spanning their whole subway line, but I love Kong's hand punching through the ceiling there. That looks awesome, and then Godzilla's spines bursting through the floor. However, that does feel like it would be a bit of a tripping hazard, but overall pretty cool. There was some Godzilla Kong theater takeovers in Japan as well, and I wish I could share those with you, but unfortunately my friend Dai-chan's Twitter account was deactivated because somebody reported him as a robot when he's not, and so I don't have the photos to share with you guys. The COD Warzone crossover event had some details released for it. I've covered this in previous videos, so let's blast through this. Following the release of their Kong operator skin and tracer packs, a Godzilla themed operator and tracer pack was added to the game, one with Godzilla with the skin, blueprints, charm, loading loading screen, decals, and atomic breath finisher move, one for Scar King with a skin, blueprints, charm, loading screen, decals, and whip slash finisher move, and one with Shimo with a skin, blueprints, charm, flash grenade skin, and freeze effect, loading screen, decal, and frostbite finisher move. That's actually my favorite of the finisher moves, as I covered in the last GXK news and updates. Additionally, the Kong with the Beast Glove, gladiator skin, and melee weapon were added to the game. The Beast Glove could be equipped with any of the 4 GXK skins during the event for an XP boost. I think it operated the same way, generally speaking, as all of their other melee weapons. The art of Godzilla Kong the New Empire was revealed for $60. Pretty cool. I love when they release these art books. I love getting into the making of the movie and their thought process behind it. I've got some strong thoughts on some of the artwork in that book, but then there's some art pieces which I think look really incredible. Like this one of Godzilla sleeping in the Coliseum is so cute. I love the way Godzilla's tail curls around there. It is so nice. I like this one a lot. It's got a really great feel to it. This one of Evolved Godzilla is incredible. This is clearly Jared Krzyzewski over at Legacy Effects, looking great. I love this one, a front view of Godzilla Evolved. Again, I really think Jared's artwork for Godzilla Evolved is super strong. I kind of like it more than I like the final design in the movie, especially the way the spines are so veiny. It's so cool. We have this one of Kong in Egypt, which is pretty neat, holding up the axe. Clearly that was early in development, as that's not how it plays out in the movie. We also have this one, which I really like, of Kong and Zuko walking through Hollow Earth. This one looks great. I love the feel of this one, and we did kind of see stuff like this in the movie, but I wish we could have had this vibrant color in the film. That's fantastic. This one of Kong fighting Scar King is awesome. I love seeing the early design for Scar King. Looks kind of like an old man version of Kong, where there's a bunch of copy and pasted Kongs in the background. That's pretty silly. And then you have obviously Kong fighting Scar King with the whip slash, and that all actually came out pretty well in the final version of the movie. GXK had its premiere in LA on March 25th. Here are some photos of it taking over the Grauman's Chinese Theater, which importantly was reopened after the pandemic by Godzilla vs. Kong. So it's nice to see them return. I love this Godzilla cardboard pop-up sticking out of the ground. That is so awesome. They also had this figure display stand of all of these Playmates figures taking over the GXK, as well as a freaking Godzilla Kong monster truck. That is so hardcore. I love it. And then we have this goofy video of Adam Wingard shouting out Toho Kingdom, which is so funny and also very relevant to where this video is going.
Yo, Toho Kingdom, what's up?
There was also premieres for GXK in China. This one is awesome. I love their display here. And it also showed early looks at the Hiya Godzilla, Godzilla Evolved, and Shimo. You guys did inform me that the reason the Evolved Godzilla from Hiya hasn't been released yet is because they actually took it back to formula in order to create a much stronger figure. So they're basically redesigning it from the ground up. Godzilla Kong the New Empire opened at a 61% Rotten Tomatoes critic score upon early reviews being released, which I don't find surprising. Godzilla movies have always struggled critically, with very few exceptions. And then the movie opened at a 92% audience score, which is much better and very cool. I'm glad to see that audiences liked this movie so much. In fact, they liked it so much that the movie received an A- cinema score, a very solid score for a monster movie, and a pretty high up there score for Godzilla films overall. There aren't too many Godzilla films with cinema scores. It comes above Godzilla 98, Godzilla 2014, Godzilla 2000, and Godzilla King of the Monsters, but just barely. And then it comes below Godzilla -1 and Godzilla vs. Kong. Cinema scores are done immediately after the movie ends when people walk out of the theater, so it's a very fresh, mostly non-biased way to do reviews for movies. It gives us a better indication than something like Rotten Tomatoes, which tends to be controlled by the fans rather than the general public. I'll get into the actual box office release of New Empire in the next news roundup, but Godzilla Kong opened at an estimate of $135 million at the global box office, pushing the MonsterVerse over $2 billion at the global box office overall, which is a fantastic achievement and makes it one of, if not Legendary's most profitable series, as well as making it one of Warner Bros.' strongest theatrical series at the moment. GXK's box office estimates place the movie around $135 million. The 2014 box office domestically opened at $93.1 million, and Kong Skull Island opened at $61 million. The domestic pre-sales for New Empire opened around $50 million, so tracking a little below those, but we'll get into the actual numbers in the next one. The international estimates were at $65 million, lower than Godzilla vs. Kong, surprisingly, despite that happened during the pandemic and with limited theatrical capacity, whereas that movie sold $105 million overseas on opening weekend. However, something I find very interesting is that Deadline gives this movie a lot of grace, explaining that this lower box office is actually because interest in US films and Hollywood productions is a lot lower in China now than it was back in the day, like when Godzilla vs. Kong came out and before, as China has started to crack down on the global box office, promoting their own domestic movies more so than Hollywood pictures, and so Hollywood pictures don't do as well over there. Where was this grace when Godzilla King of the Monsters came out of the box office? Well, it was non-existent because it was fun to dog on that movie, I suppose. We'll talk about that in a little bit, as Adam Wingard has some thoughts on that. GXK GXK was reported to cost $135 million without marketing, meaning it was doing pretty well. Looked like it was gonna basically break even upon opening weekend, which was awesome. The reason GXK had a budget of $135 million without marketing, making it the lowest budget for any American Godzilla movie, is actually because they got a lot of tax benefits from filming in Australia, and because so much of the movie takes place entirely in a VFX landscape, you don't really need to shoot as much with real people in the real world, which means not as many crew, not as many days of production, not as much money being spent. Told you I'd be doing the ending as well. Cutting you off here like Thanos at the end of Infinity War. Guess there's a lot of teasers on where the next one's going, and the next one I'm pretty happy about. We get to do one of my favorite things in these news videos, which is cover a juicy interview with the director of the movie. Thank you guys all for watching. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. It is through the support of the patrons on Patreon that I'm able to continue to make videos like this for you in the first place. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. And if that's not your thing, please consider joining the channel as a channel member for exclusive perks. Alright folks, thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out.